Welcome one and all to the 2024 Escape Collective Draft. The draft, a method of allocating certain players into teams, is beautiful. It's a system based on fairness, hope, and competition. Maybe perplexingly, it's also about as American as it gets. As American as yugging down a hot dog and a Miller Lite on the 4th of July, or driving in a Cadillac to Lauderhill in Florida to visit the biggest rubber band ball in the world, which, if you were wondering, weighs over 9,000 pounds. You'll likely know drafting from the acronym sports such as the NFL and NBA, but what about if we did it with a sport that had a real name, like cycling? That's what we're going to find out today. We've assembled an Escape Collective crew who will be selecting squads of 10 riders for the rest of the Men's World Tour season, accruing UCI points as they compete in real life, and sorting themselves into a final overall leaderboard after the merciless Tour of Guangxi, whereupon the winner will be inundated with fame and fortune, and the loser will face punishment for being the literal worst. At the moment, we're thinking this punishment will be that they have to do an Everesting. The way it will work is that competitors will first draft an existing World Tour outfit of their choice, add their own sponsor to it before selecting the riders who will go in their team. A randomly generated name selector has given us our draft order, and it will be a snake draft for the riders, going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then snaking back round 7 back to 1. All current Men's World Tour riders are eligible for selection, and competitors will have 30 seconds to make their selection or go to the back of the queue. All UCI points are treated as equal. Build your squads as your heart's desire. At the end of each round of drafting, we'll pause to chat about it and discuss the picks. Any questions? Which seems a good place to start.
No questions. Should we all introduce ourselves?
I forgot to do that. First rule of podcasting.
Why not teams of 12?
That was the voice of Abby Mickey, who's also joined by Tom Squeenge. We also have Kaylee Fretz, Dane Cash, Joe Lindsay, Kit Nicholson, and Ronan McLaughlin. Hello, everyone. Why teams of 10, Abby? Why teams of 12?
I don't know, because there's a lot of racing throughout the year, and 10 seems a small number.
The only number that seems to make sense to me is like 25 or 30, which is the actual team sizes of the teams.
But that's too many, Ronan.
I would suggest that
I have 9.5 hours worth of recording time.
I would suggest that 25 is far too many, so we need to pick an arbitrary number, and I completely trust Johnny Long to make this decision for us.
10's great. I'm into 10.
I thought it was scientifically based.
It is.
The whole thing, so the 10 is scientifically based.
Yeah, we don't need to see the workings. We'll just trust you, Johnny.
That's right.
Right.
So we pick the teams in the same order as the.
No, so scientific.
No?
We've got 2 separate orders. I'll throw to you, and if you can give us like a little reason as why you've picked that team. It doesn't have to be long, just a quick sort of intro. What made you pick that team? And also let us know the additional sponsor you're going to add on to that team. You know, that's a way that you can make this team really your own. So, Abby, Mickey, the first pick of the team draft. Who's it going to be?
I'm going to pick Little Trek. And my additional sponsor fits perfectly into the color of the jerseys, actually. I'm going to pick M&M's as my additional sponsor. The reason that I've picked Little Trek is because then Tom's can't pick it. No, just kidding. It's because I love their women's team.
Good reason. We should mention we are planning on doing this for the women's peloton. We should just say that out loud as well, because it'll be fun.
Good pick. No notes. Ronan McLaughlin.
I feel like I should add my new sponsor name before I give you the team that I've picked, because then it might make a bit more sense why I've picked this sponsor. And that is the well-known condom manufacturer. There is a group of young people with dreams who believe they can make the wonders of life under the leadership of Uncle New Internet Technology Company Limited. And I would like to add that name to Team DSM Firmenich Post NL, because I just don't think their team name is long enough.
Wait, so can you give us the whole thing now, Ronan? It's Team Firmenich Post NL.
I just about got through without laughing, and now you want me to do it again? They're a Team DSM Firmenich Post NL. There is a group of young people with dreams who believe they can make the wonders of life under the leadership of Uncle New Internet Technologies Company Limited. All in one breath.
Well done.
That's just, I don't know any of the history behind that company or anything, just to make that clear. It's just what came up when I googled the longest company name in the world.
What do they make?
Johnny's having regrets. I can see the regret in his eyes.
But now, Johnny, we have to say the whole name every time it's used.
Oh God, I didn't think about that.
Now
I'm just thinking of
DSM.
I'm just glad that we're not drafting press officers, because then someone would have to email around making sure everyone used that name every time. Ronan, thank you. I think that's a strategy that no one else was gonna go for. So it's good to variety
It was a last minute
And Ronan,
decision, to be honest
what did
with
you say this company does?
Condom manufacturers.
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Next up, a voice we don't often have on the podcast. It's great to have him in a recording and joining us today, Joe Lindsay.
Thanks, Johnny. I've put a lot of thought into my team selection. For the third pick in the team selection, I'm going to go with a Jaco Alula. The reason for this is not any particular affinity to our Aussie colleagues or anything like that. It's more a nod to all of the discussion that we're hearing around One Cycling and the possible Saudi investment fund. And so I'm going to make a little bit of a sponsor switch. Jerry Ryan obviously has owned and backed the Jaco team for a long time, but he's not opposed to letting other people sort of take over lead sponsorship. So I think this one is going to be obviously Alula with the current Saudi co-title sponsor. But to back that up, we're going to have Palantir Technologies, which is the American big data analytics company that provides all kinds of AI services to repressive regimes around the world, including the United States. So we're going to go with Alula Palantir.
By the way, that company name drawn from Lord of the Rings, which is really cool. On the one hand, on the other hand, it's a Peter Thiel company, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's that. I think it exposes Peter Thiel as a very unimaginative person because there's like, oh, Palantir, how original.
Certainly didn't come up with Team DSM for a nice post NL, but
I like it. Keeping true to a certain flavour of team in the peloton. I like it. Kaylee, what are we going for?
Well, obviously I'm going French. I have to go French, and I am going to take Team Arkea B&B Hotels.
I knew Dane would react that way.
However, B&B Hotels are, frankly, we've stayed in a number of these. They're quite nice. They're far too nice for my cycling team because frankly, I'm a cheapskate as a team owner, and so we are now Arkea Formula 1 going into next year.
Savage budget cuts all around. Better off without
Arkea
breakfast.
was going to be my choice. I was going to go Arkea B&B Hotels Airbnb.
Oh,
just for extra confusion.
That's a good one. Toms, I'm excited for this because obviously you're a rider for Little Trek. Abby's nabbed your own team, which is a shame, but also now you're free to pick whoever you want to select. Who's it going to be?
Well, there's one other team I used to ride for. They've since changed names, but I still think that as I am been on American teams for quite a few years, I might as well stick to that. So my team for this fun thing we're having is going to be EF Education Easy Post powered by Haribo.
Nice.
Rival candy.
I think that also fits the vibe of the team. And
Yeah,
they
definitely.
have many colors already, so kids love them.
That's possibly the only way you could make the kits more colourful is to have to add in, Do you guys what
Haribo.
in America? Do you have like the Super Mix and the Bears, and is it all the same ones or not? What do you guys have?
No, and our Haribo is all high fructose corn syrup. That's why James flies all the way to Europe to get European Haribo
Okay,
regularly.
Even the marshmallows are better in Europe than the States.
really?
It's true.
They're better.
They make better s'mores. That's a fact.
Wow.
Really? Oh man, I gotta test this. We can test this when it's staying in our yurt.
Oh yeah,
this summer.
We've
got a yurt for a Tour de France night.
That's a 5-month tease for a podcast that's going to be made in July. Kit Nicholson, your pick.
Hello. Well, I've had to cross out a few, sadly, but that's the name of the game. So I'm going to go with AG2R, but I'm going to bring back the brown shorts and add the Criterion Channel to the team name. Movies all the way. It's not funny or interesting. It's just me.
Nostalgic? Nostalgia's a good one to go for.
Yeah, definitely classic.
Right, I'll quickly get through mine. Doesn't take much explanation. I'm going to go for the Ineos Grenadiers, and my extra sponsor is going to be Greenpeace. Dane Cash, what is your team and sponsor?
Johnny, as you know, my favorite Arthurian legend-loving Bianchi riding team has already been chosen by the boss, so I just have to accept it. We're gonna go with Visma Lisa Bike, and we're gonna up this arms race that Bora Hansgrohe has begun. We are now Visma Lisa Bike Monster Energy, and we are the energy drink sponsor of the professional peloton. There can be no other.
You got Cav already.
Already doing the marketing as well, taglines and slogans and everything. Excellent. I mean, if anyone's got any thoughts on which ones they particularly liked or questions, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'm pretty impressed of the imagination that's gone into it, which maybe I shouldn't be.
I'm just wondering at this point, having heard all the teams that we've chosen and the new sponsors that we're adding to Pro Cycling, if Tom's wants to take this opportunity to revise his decision to join us and escape while he still has a chance.
He's in.
Yeah, too late now. No turning back. I ain't no quitter.
Good.
Love it. Well, let's get on to drafting the riders. So we've got a sheet going up with the who picks in what order. And remember, when it gets to the end of the line, it comes back down the way it's come. So the draft snakes, so that there's not too much of an advantage. Maybe there is. It depends on. There's many different theories, but that's the way it works. It'll be a snake draft. And we selected the order with a random wheel name generator. And as statistical improbabilities would have it, Abby Mickey also has the first pick of the rider draft. Abby,
this is so much pressure. No, I don't.
It is pressure.
It's pressure. Can I veto going first? Okay. Mess Peterson.
So interestingly, neither
a bold play.
Not picked.
No, you have to pick. You have to pick. You have to pick someone who will get points.
Okay, who's up? Johnny,
right,
you
I
should
started my timer, and
MC.
I am picking the rider who has acquired the most points in the last 12 months, Tadej Pogacar.
Obviously.
Oh, that would have been a good idea.
Nice. Ronan, third pick of the draft.
I am going to pick the rider who has acquired almost the next amount of points, and that's Roglic.
Nice. I mean, why not just go down the list of the 100 ranked riders and pick it in order? Dane, are you going to continue that trend?
Yeah, I think even more so than Roglic. I think Visma Lease bike rider Jonas Vingegaard is your obvious pick there, and I think he's really going to thrive with the Monster Energy logo on that jersey.
Already given your market deliverables. I like it. Joe, your first pick.
Well, I'll just close it out here and pick Evenepoel. I want to thank Abby for picking Mads Pedersen first and opening that option up for me. I was looking at my slot to pick fifth and thinking, well, shoot, I lost out on the 4 best GC riders. But thanks, Abby. Your payment is in the mail.
Perfect. I can't wait for the discussion of the first overall pick when we get to the end of the first round. Kit, your first pick.
I'll go with Wout van Aert.
Damn it.
Let's keep going. We've built up steam. Tom's, your first pick. Will you be picking yourself or someone else?
I don't get enough points to pick myself, unfortunately.
You are in the 50s. I checked. You're there.
Yeah, but if you look at the points, I have like half of, or not even half, probably a third of anyone in the top 10. So actually, I will pick Adam Yates. I think that now that Poggy's risking a little bit, Adam might be able to step up and collect some extras along the way.
I like it. That was
clever.
That was going to be my pick. So now I'll go with Jasper Philipsen. I'm hoping that that bright green Porsche that he was driving after the Tour has sort of willed him on to win even more this year. Maybe he'll have 2 green Porsches at the end of this season. And that closes out. Is there any more? No, that closes out the first round. I mean, who wants to go first? Who's got thoughts? Because I feel like that didn't necessarily go how we thought it would go. Abby, maybe reaction from you. Do you regret Mads Pedersen as the first overall choice?
No, I believe in my star rider, and I'm happy with my decision.
We should
but I do love
you took my
Wout van Aert.
6th choice from me.
And I feel the pressure was too much for me. My only regret is that I didn't get Wout van Aert, but I'm happy with my decision.
I mean, we did say it going in here that it's not just about points. I mean, it is. That's all it's about. But also, we are trying to make fun teams. It's a little bit more than just points.
Can I clarify one important thing that I may have missed? Is it World Tour points or UCI points in general?
UCI
or what points are we? Okay, so actually, Mads might actually be a good choice.
He's like 7th or something like that.
He just won at the weekend, so he's already off to a start.
Yeah,
where a
and
lot
he's
of
more likely
picks
to
don't
win
have any
one-day
points yet.
races than stages and overall, which gets more points.
That's got me rethinking how to
The
do this.
UCI point system, guys.
How to pick.
I
We've
didn't
spent a lot of time
talking about
this.
For what it's worth, Joe and
was
I have
considering-
had a long conversation about this already. It's on the website. But it's actually not that much difference between the UCI points, PCS ranking, and in the end, they're actually all quite similar.
Yeah. I mean, the ranking exists for a reason, right? Like the people we've picked are the top in the world. So who knows if you'll leave them
Is it
any
like-
points on the table here? Or
Is it like one of those memes corporate has asked you to find the difference in these two photos, and one is the UCI ranking and one is the PCS
much.
ranking? Okay.
Exactly. Right. Should we any more thoughts before we move on, or should we just carry on? We have a lot of
I
names
have
to
thought.
pick. Dane.
I've been playing fantasy sports for a very long time, fantasy football for I don't know, almost 20 years, and I would actually say this is a pretty normal first round. I mean, yeah, Mess Peterson is not like an obvious first pick, but it's not like she picked somebody who's not going to score any points. Mess Peterson's a top 10 rider. I think we should stop giving Abby such a hard time. She could win this whole thing, and also I think we're all pretty competent. We all look pretty good after the first round. I think this looks fine.
Nice.
I feel good about mine personally.
I mean, same.
Yeah, I mean,
I got no thing to go. So.
Yeah, Kaylee's been very quiet in this discussion for good reason.
I'm taking it seriously. I don't want to do an Everesting.
Yeah, me neither. Ronan's gonna throw.
I
it
just
so he
want
can
an
win.
excuse to do an everything.
Whatever you consider that.
yeah, I
I'm
haven't
gonna
really.
laugh so hard if Tom's has to do an Everesting.
Right, I
I
will.
wanted to do one, so
Yeah, but
Oh.
Tom's could probably manage an Everesting just by doing
Yeah.
his races.
I might end up with the one with egg on his face if Tom's has to do an everything.
Oh yeah.
Right, I'll set the ball rolling as we come back down the order. To fit out my Ineos Grenadiers Greenpeace team, I probably need to get some Brits in the squad, Jasper Philipson is a first pick for a British team. That's not really the way they've done things historically. So I'm going to get in as the second pick. I'm going to get Simon Yates to close out the Yates twins in this draft. Toms, you're up next.
I'll go with my other Danish teammate, Matthias Skalmos.
Oh,
Love it.
on the up too. Solid.
Love it. Kit, background to you.
Okay, well, I'm on the counter, aren't I?
Oh.
Yeah, but you have plenty
You
of
are on the
time.
counter.
Let
Plenty
me-
of time.
I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna go Juan Ayuso.
Oh,
I like that.
Interesting.
that's the first
Interesting.
Spanish rider drafted. If you wanted a little factoid there, you probably didn't, but it occurred to me off the top of my head, so you got it. Joe Lindsay, who will be joining Remco Evenepoel in your squad?
I honestly cannot believe the shade and disrespect shown on this podcast to one world champion Matthew van der Poel. I don't understand you guys. I know that the word is that he's put too much into his cyclocross season. He's not going to have a good road season. All this kind of stuff. I don't believe a word of it. I really don't. The man is a professional. He's got a professional team behind him. He doesn't have a green Porsche, but he does have a Lamborghini, brownish, at least this week.
Yeah, he'll probably get
Horrible.
more points than most of the rest of the peloton just by racing a third of the season.
That's what we'll have to see.
That takes the obvious pick away from me here. I
Who's
don't really
joining
want to draft
the
a
sickly
whole
boy
team
prince?
of Visma riders, but like the next two guys on my list, they happen to ride for the team. So what am I supposed to do? Christophe Laporte,
I would kind of like it if you just drafted
the whole team.
entire Visma Lisa
Yeah,
bike.
why not?
I mean, it's probably different, I guess, to what will happen. Ronan, who's joining Primoz Roglic on your team?
Benem Gourmet.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
I think yours is probably looking like the most fun team because
I
you've
have
got,
no idea if he wants to ride for my team or not, but I think that's how draft works. Is
Yeah,
he
they-
doesn't really get a choice.
they don't
now,
get a
isn't it?
choice. Yeah,
That
they
is
just
true.
put on the
Okay,
jersey.
okay.
Yeah, easy.
He can refuse to play. I mean, that has happened. Eli Manning refused to play for the team that drafted him. So,
Oh,
I've
I've always wondered that.
yeah. I mean, then
I know.
you just can't play until you get traded.
That'd be good. Kaylee, Tadej Pogacar. Some may say you've already won the draft. He's the next pick.
Like I said, I feel good about first pick. Second pick for me is going to be the winner of last year's San Sebastian. Had a bit of I would say it was a breakthrough year last year. Nielsen Palace.
He did not
Yeah.
win San Sebastian.
That was
Didn't win
like
San
that was
Sebastian.
years ago.
Several years ago.
2 years ago. 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
21.
21.
What year is it?
He won San Sebastian.
He did win
Has
at
won
some
San
He's
point.
won
in his
San
life.
Sebastian. Nielsen Palace is my pick.
We finally got.
I was trying to get an American on Arkea Formula E, and it was between him and Matteo Jorgensen. I think Nielsen will take it this year.
Yeah, there's no other American riders who've maybe recently won a Grand Tour. But it's also great to have our new Escape Collective fact checker Tom's on board. It's great to have you on the editorial team.
We could use more.
Abby. Yeah, we could. Abby, your pick. Who's joining Mads?
Sepp Kuss.
There we go.
How am I supposed to build a Visma team if you take Sepp Kuss?
He's mine, bitches.
Right, that's the end of round 2.
All right.
Is that how you have? I think is that how we have to finish all picks now? You have to finish your pick and then say, "Ha, it's mine, bitches." Is that?
Yeah, maybe style points, I guess.
I'm looking at Joe's team right now, and I think it's a strong team. Got to say, Joe, you've managed to do a nice job so far.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from a person with 20 years of fantasy baseball experience.
Oh yeah, well, not necessarily 20 years of fantasy, winning seasons. Just a lot of experience losing, but.
Same here. Every year in Valo games, I pick a team. I'm actually in a mini league with Tom's, and every year he beats the absolute tar out of all of us. So
I remember when I was a very young cycling journalist person. I remember getting into Velo games and seeing that there was a professional cyclist who played. I thought that was really cool. And now he's right here on this call with us. Wow,
Still playing.
Who's got the riskiest first 2?
Honestly, I think Johnny's got the riskiest. He's betting that's a big bet on Philipsen to have as good of a year as he had last year. Sprinters are streaky, and then you've got Simon, who's good for sure. But there's a lot riding on those 2 guys.
Well, I've got Primoz Roglic, so I think
It's not very risky. I feel like for some reason Ayuso feels risky to me, but you've got Wout van Aert.
Excuse me, Primoz grabbed defeat from the clutches of victory in the Tour de France, and then didn't finish the 2 tours that he started since that. So I mean that has to be the riskiest.
He did win a Grand
pick.
Tour last year, which gets you a lot of UCI points, right?
Ronan would like to do an Everesting, I think, but I think from this particular portion.
I feel like Joe has the riskiest team because Vanderpool is probably targeting the mountain bike race at the Olympics.
Definitely.
And Vanderpool is great, but he is unpredictable.
Also a good point. But mountain bike points count for triple, right?
Biking talk is already flourishing. I've also just heard Tom tell Abby that he's not going to help her. So without help, Abby, who's it going to be?
I hate this game. I am going to pick Matteo Jorgensen.
Ooh. Mate Mohoric.
Here we go. Already got some points as well.
Exactly. I'm off to a flying start. At least I won't get 0, right?
Yeah, thinking positive. Ronan, who's joining Vinny and Primoz in your fun factory of a team?
Can't believe he's lasted this long unpicked. Thomas Pidcock.
Well done, man. I got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, well, Dane, it's you up next. Was that your guy?
Yeah. So now I got to go look again. Let's see. As I look at the list, it's reminding me that Thibaut Pinot has retired, and that really bums me out.
Yeah, I like that he's
It
still
also
on there.
reminded me that Lotto are no longer World Tour because I wanted to pick
sad.
Arnaud Delis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
9
This
pounds
is
of
part of the
sausage
reason
and
why
8
they want
pound
to be
sack.
World Tour. So get picked in the Escape Collective draft.
Yeah.
Kayla, how much time I got? What's on the clock here?
You have 5 seconds left. 5, 4.
Geraint
3.
Thomas is coming on over.
Damn it!
I rarely hear Joe that
Jerk.
passionate.
Yeah, Joe, that was
Joe
strong.
definitely has the sketchiest team if that was his next pick.
Oof. Shots
That's
fired.
okay. I did it to him. So that's how the game works. All right, I'm on the clock now. I'm gonna go with Teo and a rebound season from injury.
Nice. Like that.
Entered into a British patch of riders here. Are you gonna carry it on? What are you going for?
I'm not. I'll stick with English speaking or English as a first language and grab Sam Welsford, who is risky because of the Olympics, but he has already won four races.
Yeah, and he'll probably never turn up late for the start ever again. So at least he's got that guaranteed, I guess. Tom's, who's joining Adam Yates and Matthias Skelmoser?
I'm going to keep it international and go for a Frenchie, Valentin Madouas.
Nice.
I think I'll also keep it French. and I'm going to go for David Gaudu. I like what he's been saying over the off-season. He's been out fishing. He's deleted all his social media apps. You know, it could work for him, maybe.
Is he still on Twitch live streaming? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Not since the one he did after the Tour de France for 5 hours, where he talked his viewers through the entirety of the race. So I'm taking that as a positive as well. Where to start? Let's go with. I want to run through sort of. What about Ronan? Thomas Pidcock. You think he should have gone earlier?
It was a toss up between himself and Germaya, my pick before that, and I picked Germaya because he's also presumably targeting the classics and having had disappointment last year, hoping that he can go well this year. But Pidcock, I think targeting the Tour is a slightly risky one if he is actually targeting GC, because that could go very, very well or could go very, very badly, and his entire season could be sans points if the GC doesn't work at the Tour. I don't know what I'm saying here.
He's also got
persistent
stomach trouble that they can't get to the bottom of, and it messed up his CX season. I don't know.
Perhaps he should try Monster rather than Red Bull.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I really wanted him to be the standard bearer.
Aha.
Maybe it's something about the Red Bull recipe that just doesn't agree with him. I don't know.
I'm a little confused by the Sam Welsford pick, if I'm honest. Like, I'm not a Sam Welsford hater. You know, he's a super nice guy. He's got a mullet and stuff. But I also don't think he's going to win any more more races this year. Kit, explain yourself.
I don't know. I mean, I think you've got to win to get points, but you've also got to place high to get points. And I think he was really coming into some rapid pace towards the end of last season. He's clearly gelling well with his lead out. And yeah, he didn't have a huge amount of competition, especially with Caleb Ewan being under the weather in Oz. I don't know. I feel like he'll win a few more things and he'll get some top 3 placings before he goes off and races around the track a bit. You know, sprinters often turn up to multiple Grand Tours as well as doing classics and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I think he might not win loads, but I think he'll get lots of points.
All right.
You're just sitting at the top of your mountain and looking down on us all, Kaylee.
Mount Tade. Mount Tade didn't go first in the draft. You know. Yeah.
Joe, do you think you've sneaky got the best team so far, considering how far back you are in the draft pit?
I'd like to take a long run at it. I'm rethinking my disappointment over Geraint Thomas right now. That there's a disconnect between my perception of him and the fact that he is 85th on the World Tour points list on PCS right now. So Dane, that's hey. Love it. More power to you. I'll take tail.
Here's my rationale. I don't actually think Geraint Thomas is going to win a Grand Tour, but he is going to go race 2 of them this year. And you know, love him or hate him, World Tour points really reward you for finishing in the top 10-ish in a Grand Tour. So even if he finishes like
clearly they did not reward him last year
because he only raced 1.
He was second.
Well, he didn't really race much. You know.
So yeah, that was my thought too. Was like, yeah, he's going to race the Giro and the Tour. He typically finishes well. Like he'll score a bunch of points just by finishing whatever 3rd or 4th or his usual top 5 underappreciated Grand Tour rider thing. But he doesn't actually have that many points.
Yeah, he really. I did notice that as I was depressed.
That's what you get as a GC rider on the UCI point system.
I would say usually you get a lot more though. He just didn't really do much other than the Giro last year. The whole year, all he really achieved. I mean, sorry, Geraint.
Okay.
I wonder.
I'm coming to peace.
I wonder about like Primoz Roglic this year, because Primoz said at the beginning of the year that he was going to focus less on all the sort of lead up races, not try to win Paris-Nice, for example. That was where a lot of his points came from, those smaller races. So I wonder how you're going to do there, Ronan.
That was before he knew he had Red Bull. Have you ever had a Red Bull? I've had Red Bulls. You do a lot more when you've got a Red Bull.
It's no monster.
All right.
It's not.
It is not.
I don't really know what. There's not even a question here.
You ask Jim Carrey. Somebody will get that joke. Somebody out there.
Barry's been looking at the list and trying to turn around my team. And I think I'm going to do it with Romain Bardet. I'm going to make a French Ineos team.
Kelly swooped in and took the French team I really wanted to pick, and he has yet to pick a French rider, I would note, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want any French riders. I just want Arkea. No, actually, that's not true. I have a French rider further down my list, but I don't think anyone else is going to pick him, so I'm not going to pick him yet, obviously. All right.
Tom's, you're next. Who's joining your team?
Keeping it international, getting the guy that's called Mr. Yo-Yo Joao Almeida. He scores points.
I like that.
Well, should be good enough.
Mr. Yo-Yo.
Sounds great in an
Yeah,
Irish
he's
accent. He's,
He's the dangler, the great dangler.
yeah.
Kit, he's next.
I've forgotten who I. Oh yeah. I'm going to drop Ghana in to my team.
Nice.
So, looking to target the Olympics here. Joe.
This could be a bit of a reach because I don't see anything for what his program this year is going to be. But I gotta think that Santiago Buitrago could have a good season this year. He's got kind of a clean run at some GC races if he wants to do them for himself, as opposed to a guy like Almeida who's stuck behind Pog. So
I like it. Good strategy, Dane.
We're gonna keep it Spanish speaking. Viva Landismo. Because Mikel Landa is joining the Monster Club, and he's going to have a bit of a career resurgence here.
Ronan.
I have riders that I want to pick, but I'm going to go for Olav Koy.
Ouch.
Yes. I don't know anything about him personally. It wasn't a personal slate. There's names that I want to throw out there, but this seems like a sensible pick.
Yeah, I think he's going to go to his first Grand Tour maybe as well, I think, this year. I think that's been promised him for him to, like, that was part of the reason why he re-signed, maybe. I might be making that up.
Yeah, I think he's going to the Giro.
Oh, great. Will he have Wout van Aert leading him out? Kaylee, who's joining the non-French team.
Well, actually, I am going to add a Frenchman. This is real. I'm just swinging for the fences at this point because he will either get 0 points next year or he'll win a couple Tour de France stages. Victor Lefay.
I should have gone for him. He'd fit perfectly in the
Isn't that the second time where you should have gone for him, Johnny? Didn't we have a weekly pain the other day where you were unable to come up with his name? And yeah.
Autocorrect on my list has called him Victor Leafy.
Oh,
That works for some reason.
Leafy green.
Abby, would you like to close out our fourth round?
Ben Healy.
Oh.
Nice pick.
How dare you? Irish riders are mine.
He was one of those guys that you're just looking at on the list and you're like, is he going to go yet? Can I wait another round?
I was thinking that.
You couldn't.
Abby, I'd like to ask a question. You're straight out the gate getting Little Trek, and yet you've only put one Little Trek rider, or current Little Trek rider, on the squad.
Yeah, the other two Little Trek riders that I would have picked got picked. I mean, of the top, I don't know, 20, whatever. Matthias Skelmos, I definitely would have gone for, and also Theo Gegenhardt. I'm really excited to see what he can do. But unfortunately, they got picked before I could pick them myself. But it doesn't mean that I won't pick a Little Trek rider, Little Trek M&M's rider.
Or
in
a big
the
one.
future.
Abby, you now can open up the fifth round.
Speaking of getting into a groove, I'm going to go with Caden Groves.
Love that. A pun and a sprinter. And Kaylee.
Going young and French once again, and we're going Lenny Martinez.
Oh, I like it.
He was 19 last year, second in the stage of the Vuelta. Solid.
Why not? Right.
I'm going to go for a big Little Trek rider, and that's Jonathan Milan.
Ugh.
At 1.93 m, he is the true Johnny Long.
God, yeah.
Johnny Tall.
I'll take Milan instead.
Our Johnny's pretty tall, right?
He's deceptively tall. I think
Yeah. He looks bigger in person, for sure.
I feel like his nickname, not Johnny Long, Jonathan Milan, should be like a Millie. Like a million?
Johnny Millie? Johnny Millie?
A million, yeah. Because he wins? Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, Millie wins. Someone edit his Wikipedia page.
Well, hopefully this year I'll be saying Johnny Bravo when he rakes in the points from me.
The puns are flying out the gates in the fifth round. That's where we've got to. Dane, have you got a pick? And more importantly, do you have a pun to go with your pick?
I don't have a pun. I have no puns here. I'm just sticking with Spanish-speaking GC riders, Carlos Rodriguez.
Nice. I like that you typed it in before you said it, just to give us all,
Yeah, in case you're watching. Yeah,
I'm watching intently. If you could try and put Joe's in beforehand, that would also be impressive.
Ooh,
But
yeah,
we have to wait and
I got some
we have to wait and get
guesses.
what Joe says.
All right, we're having a little bit of a run on sprinters here, so I'm going to join the party with Tim Merlier.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Tim, yeah.
Guess was wrong.
Well, Dane's guess, Dane was just a few seconds ahead of time because I was going to go for Bilbao.
Hey.
Wow.
Just got the telepathic wires crossed slightly.
Yeah, that's right.
Toms, you're up now.
I am going with the runner-up at most recent Etoile Bessèges. That was a very hard race, and the guy's actually quite a big talent, and will add more French flair to EF. Kevin Vaclan.
I am looking through now. I've got a choice between two. I'm going to go with Jai Hindley.
Nice.
And that was a speedy round 5.
Well done, everybody.
Tom, I'd like to ask about your pick, because I would say it's the most unorthodox maybe since Abby's first pick. So yeah, just get your thoughts. What are you seeing that maybe other people haven't seen so far?
I mean, he's really strong. He won the TT. Mess last year got beaten only by Filippo Ganna in the TT. And to beat Mess in that TT is not so easy. And he's had, good results along the way also beforehand. So I think that this is going to be a good year where actually Arkea steps it up and gives him a bunch of support, and he maybe targets more the smaller races and thus accumulates quite a bit of points.
Yeah, I think he won one of the small French stage races last year. It made him Arkea's top 1 or 2, maybe top 3 performers. So he is definitely someone. I mean, Arkea didn't have a great year last year, to be fair. But yeah, he was probably the standout rider besides Demar once he turned up. So I'm interested to see what he does this year, with a bit more commitment from the team, hopefully.
It would have been great if he was actually joining EF also, because then they would have had like 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th in that time trial on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a good omen that you're picking him for EF, or your version of EF.
Love it. Anything else, or should we move on to the 6th round with ever increasing speed until this train crashes? I'm going to set off with, I've just spotted his name on the list, and even if there's better picks, I now can't not pick him after I've seen him. It's the farmer's son himself, Yves Lampard. He's just a nice guy.
He's going to be a points farmer this year.
Let's hope so. Well, because who else? They're not taking Remco Evenepoel to the race. Who else are they taking? Toms, have we got another hidden gem maybe that you're going to pull out now? Or?
Not this time. Just going to stick with a very solid American that will be a helpful guy along the way. Brandon McNulty.
Good pick.
Good EF pick. Solid EF pick.
Kit, who's up next on the list? I feel like you've done a lot of prep for this, so...
I haven't done a lot of prep. I sat here for 10 minutes eating my noodles beforehand and had a look at some names.
You're fueled.
Carb loading.
Carb loading, indeed. I'm ready. Okay, so slightly rogue, and I'm not sure I want him on my team necessarily, but he's a good points scorer. This is going to sound really bad. Well, Lutsenko. We'll go to Kazakhstan and win all those national championships and get loads of points.
I was thinking you're going to go way worse than that. Like the way that you described it was like somebody was a bad person, you know?
I don't know. I'm sure he's, I don't know that he's not worth having on a team, but he's anyone on Astana I'm slightly dubious of.
I think I'm going to go Mark. No.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say there. When you said Astana, I mean, yeah.
He's good at getting flights as well, isn't he? He managed to get him back from a race to see the birth of his child. Joe, your pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a guy that we've overlooked a little bit. He would have been among the top picks off the board and just a few years ago. And he's got a Olympic road race on home soil that suits his abilities coming up. So I'm going to go with a certain Julian Alaphilippe, Mr. Alaphilippe.
Can he get motivated?
He has to get motivated.
Yeah. It's a contract
or he
year.
won't be racing in 2025.
At least not for as much as he's racing for at the moment.
Love it. Dane.
Yeah, I feel like I've been wondering since we started how far this guy's going to fall, because even though he was like way up there in the rankings this year, like nobody's picking him because he didn't win anything big, just won a bunch of smaller races. Let's go with Mark Hershey.
I guess that the people who've selected other confectionery as their team sponsors may have not wanted to get him on board just for sort of brand recognition confusion.
Well, particularly if they have M&M's as a sponsor, that would be very confusing.
Ronan, as one of your children has just walked in, were they giving you any top tips for who to pick next?
Slightly distracted me because the child in question came in as someone was picking Alaphilippe Joe, I think. I thought they were about to pick someone else when they mentioned, sort of dropped off the radar and then said Olympics, but Joe did not pick Richard Carapaz, and I am going to pick Richard Carapaz. I was also slightly distracted by the Mark Hirschi pick because surprising, like 10th place in the current rankings.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, isn't it?
How's that?
He had to scrape together lots of one-day
did really
races
well
last year because he wasn't allowed to go to a Grand Tour, so he had to get motivated. And he did
So
quite
he
well.
wins the 2023 High Marsability Award, right?
100%.
Well, he actually did like win some races.
Tour de Luxembourg, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
whereas like High Marsabilia didn't even.
Yeah, but High Marsability was always sort of up there doing things, finishing 7th, and you just didn't notice him. The not noticing him was
unnoticed.
The key part, right?
Yeah,
doing
unnoticed.
Interesting things without being noticed.
Right, Kaylee, you're next.
Tej Benut, please.
You don't have to say please. It's a draft. They have to do what we tell them. He goes to your team. That's
No,
it.
then they can actually refuse to play. That's happened before.
Yeah, that's right.
We can have manners. That's fine. Abby, could you close out the round, please?
Yeah, we're getting further and further down the list, and so I'm gonna go with another current Little Trek rider, keeping him on the team. Even I can't pronounce his name. Squinch.
How was it, Toms? Was it good?
Great.
That's where we'll start this brief discussion. Toms, are you pleased to be picked? How do you feel about being picked where you were picked? Do you think you're going to be able to deliver the points that Abby will need for her team?
Well, it's an honor to be riding a Trek, so I'll stick with that. No problem.
I want to know, did you have yourself on your list? Would you have picked yourself?
He's shaking his head. I don't know. I feel like you get plenty of points, Toms.
Yeah, he's in the top 60, isn't he?
Yeah, a little extra motivation.
For sure, this is... It's a fine.
He's above Geraint Thomas.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's Geraint Thomas ever done? Man, that poor guy. He's a fellow podcaster. We should be nice.
I enjoy how that was the perfect professional answer. Almost as if you are a rider for a cycling team.
And wearing a team-specific kit by the looks of it too. He's come prepared.
Abby, your next pick. You run out of husbands to pick, so now it's back to the drawing board.
No, I'm actually gonna pick another husband. He's just not my husband, and that is Michael Woods.
He's not World Tour.
Okay.
Are there any other husbands
so
out there?
Disappointing.
Good catch.
He should be.
I was
but
really excited about that pick. He's
Oh.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go with. No, stop holding that timer up. It's too stressful already. I like his name. So Alex Aaron Brewer.
He just broke a collarbone.
he's pretty.
Oh,
it's
no!
a good, solid kit. Oh wait, what?
He just broke his collarbone?
Yeah, like in one of the races in my
Oh,
come back.
yeah. Well, you'll be back racing in 2
come
weeks.
back.
It's only February.
Yeah, it's just a collarbone.
Actually, I think it's good for his season. You don't
And
want
he's
to
already-
peak too early.
Already been on a podium.
Blessing in disguise.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that.
I like it. Kaylee,
little time trial flavor. Josh Tarling.
let's keep it rolling. Ronan,
Jonathan Navarez.
nice. Stacking the Jonathans in your team. An interesting tactic. We'll have to see if it pays off in the long run. Dane Cash.
Yeah, I'm still filling out this form. Hold on. Give me a second.
I like how Dane just, instantly got the Jonathan versus the Jonathan spellings correct.
Yeah, I was about to say similar. He's got the Spanish name spelled right, but he's missed Kevin Vogland's name.
What did I do with Kevin?
You can tell.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
VAU.
I couldn't figure out there's something short about it. I couldn't figure out what letter was missing, but
Yeah, but we all have our
I'm so sorry.
specialties.
I'm so sorry. Let's go with does he still ride for a World Tour team? Now I'm all worried about it. Let's go with Stefan Kung.
Most certainly does.
Kung's a good one.
Joe Lindsay, who will follow Julian Alaphilippe?
I'm going to go with the Austrian stage winner from last year's tour, 8th overall, Felix Gall.
Interesting. Yeah. We're getting into the sneaky good pick territory now. Because the obvious picks are mostly behind us.
This is
I feel
where
like.
championships are won.
This is where championships are won. Yep.
Unless you have Pogacar, then you have probably.
Then I'm probably going to
won
be okay.
Yeah.
If Kaylee wins, we can all just pretend that we had to let the boss win. Kit, who's your pick?
I could go for point scorers, but I'm going to go for a bit more of a vibey one. Someone I like, Leonard Kemner, who will score some points with any luck. But there are others who might score more, but I like him.
Last pick.
That's 3 straight German speakers. Can we keep it going?
I mean, he might speak German. Kian, that just now did a big change in the off season, bit unexpected, but I think that he will fit in quite nicely with the Jumbo guys.
Who is that? Sorry,
Kian.
Brooks.
Kian.
I'm going to close out this round with the guy's going to be the figurehead of my team, Fred Wright.
Oh man, nice one.
I couldn't believe you didn't pick him first. Honestly, I thought he was going to be the first name on the team sheet.
Nah, it's got picked in the right place. Kaylee, Josh Tarling, time trialer. You love time trialing. Easy pick, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking about the way that the UCI tallies points, and there's a fair number of TTs throughout the year. Yeah, he'll get something. We're now into the get something era, right? Like I could take a punt on somebody who maybe wins a stage. My Victor Lefay pick, for example, that's kind of taking a punt on somebody who like may or may not do anything. Whereas I feel like the really strong time trialist, kind of like a good sprinter, like you're gonna get top 10s throughout the year, and they're gonna get points. There's my explanation. I believe in him.
Ronan?
I was just going to ask Johnny, you've picked the Ineos Grenadiers, but you haven't picked any Grenadiers yet. No, it's a complete, what do you call it in the NFL when you completely redo your team?
Rebuild?
Yeah, overall. I'm burning it down to the ground, building it back up from scratch, A lot of the riders found other homes, but sometimes you just need a culture shift. You need to freshen things up. Not to say I won't pick one, but we'll have to see. Before we crack on, just quickly, Joe, I saw you studiously looking at your list there. Your score is looking pretty strong. How are you feeling so far with your selections?
Honestly, better than I would have hoped in this group of absolute ringers for this kind of stuff. I feel like I'm more or less holding my own, which is about as good as I can do. I know I'm not going to win, but I'm really hopeful to avoid an Eversting.
Yeah, who's looking the most likely for an Eversting at this point in time?
Johnny Long.
Yeah, I think Johnny Long is.
I'm not sure if I could physically do one, so it'd be worth watching either way.
Maybe you can have Fred do the Eversting for you if it ends up being you, because as Dane mentioned, like this is where championships are won or lost. So that's a bold pick.
You could blame him. Yeah,
I think he's also maybe one of the most likely guys to actually would do it for you if you ask.
Speaks highly of him.
Right, let's crack on. We've got 3 rounds left. I'm going to open it up and then hand over to Tom's afterwards. I'm going to pick Lecoq Sportif himself, Brian Cockard.
Really?
You sure about that?
He comes second. He comes second in every race he rides.
That's true.
Good points.
That's true.
Almost won on
I
the weekend.
would have picked Cockard over Demar these days.
Yeah,
because he finishes
but
more
like
often than Demar does.
There's still some other sprinters that are available that have won
Quite a
more
few
things. Yeah,
True, but Johnny's a vibe.
that's
all
that.
vibes.
I mean, and in terms of vibes, Brian Cockard has them.
Him, Godot, and Bardet, they're going to chat and have fun together on the big bad bus.
Yep. He's got team spirit. Not that matters much in this game, but
They're convinced Joe. Right, Tom's, your pick.
Current Group AMF rider, Lawrence Pitty. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Kiwi guy. New to the team, had a solid point scoring last year, and I expect many more points from him this year.
He was the one that was animating TDU, wasn't he?
He won Cadell's.
yeah, he won the Cadell race.
Sneaky.
Already got some points.
That's a WorldTour race as well.
Kit, your pick.
Hello. I've already got a sprinter in my team, but this game doesn't really care for that anyway. So I'm going to go with Gerben Thiessen. I'm not sure I'm saying his name correctly, but yeah.
Joe.
Gonna pick up a little Trek rider, Giulio Ciccone.
Ooh.
You
haven't
He's about to be off the bike for a couple of
Yeah,
months.
he's off the bike for a few months with getting surgery on something.
Some quite unpleasant
Don't
sounding
Google it.
surgery.
Do not Google it.
Now people are going to Google it.
I mean, you can Google what's wrong with him, but don't Google the actual. Yeah.
Should we tell people? Perineal cyst, folks.
Ooh.
Well, think about how good he'll be when he gets that fixed.
Maybe just in time for the tour?
Let's hope so. Dane, let's see if you can pick a rider who either faced controversy last season or is currently out injured.
How about a rider who is fully recovered from his horrible injuries and ready to slap on that Monster Energy helmet, Fabio Jakobsen?
That was the one I was referring to when I was saying there were sprinters available.
Yeah, me too.
When
There's a
you
couple
picked
out there.
Brian Cockard. I mean, if you're going to pick Brian Cockard or Fabio Jakobsen, I feel like he's got a new team.
He rides for DSM. What was
There's
it
only
again?
one sprinter you
Ronan?
want this year. There's only one sprinter you want this year, and I'm about to pick him. Bam Send It, otherwise known as Sam Bennett.
Oh, there we go.
I like it. He is definitely not in the top 200 on the list here, but obviously.
He must be.
Whoa, Dane.
No, he's what did he?
Shots fired.
Did he finish like in the top 5 anywhere last year?
Yeah,
I'm a big Sam Bennett fan. Just state
I'm
the
pretty
facts.
sure that Ronan was
Dauphiné
like one of his
Sprintsman.
groomsmen at his wedding. You better be careful.
Oh, come on. I'm a big Sam Bennett fan. And he did do some things last year. He was pretty good last year. Just not quite what he used to be.
Fighting talk's coming out now. Kaylee, who are you going for? Who of all the sprinters better than Brian Coquard could you possibly pick now?
Enric Mas.
Wow. That's hopeful.
And he would have been a good fit on my Spanish team.
Given my new haircut, I'm surprised nobody picked him sooner.
I was going to say that. Just that just crossed my mind, but I didn't know if it was rude or not.
Well, I'm the biggest Enric Mas fan.
I feel good about a Mas pick right now. Like, he had lots of points last year.
Just as long as it doesn't
Yeah,
crash.
he's not going to win the Tour de France or anything, but he'll be,
Mas
he'll be
points.
up there. Yeah, he'll get a bunch of points. Isn't that the point here? I don't want to do an Everesting. I'm picking Enric Mas.
That's fair enough. Abby, close out the round for us, please.
Yeah, I'm going to close out the round with Egan Bernal. Speaking of people who were injured or
Nice.
coming back,
That's a good one.
I feel good about this.
It's a great pick.
Thank you.
You guys
I
realize that
really thought you were going to pick him. Like I was when you said.
I definitely, want him for the team. I'm just, I got to win, though. I'm all about the win, and I think Fabio Jakobsen gives you a better chance to win.
Agree to disagree.
You guys realize Rui Costa is still up there?
I always forget that he's even still racing.
He's the rider that Ben Healy said he most wants to be like, which I loved.
Another contender for the High Marceability Award. Like, just hanging out, being 7th all the time.
Well, that's what he did, but that's how he won the stage at the Tour last year. Sat on the back of the group.
Well, he's notorious for that. That's how he. That's how he
his
won
thing.
his world championship
That's
too.
what I'm. Yeah,
He's
I mean, that's
canny.
what I'm.
Yeah. Yep. He is a canny guy.
There we are. Should we keep going? We're getting close to the end. Okay, Abby, your pick.
Oh, Ben O'Connor. Ben O'Connor, please.
Oh.
A vibes pick.
Aren't they all though?
Ben.
Kaylee, your pick.
Am I recalling this correctly that I just read that this rider is going to altitude for the first time because he's tired of getting beat? Alexander Kristoff.
He's not on a
He's
World
not.
Tour team.
Oh
Ben.
no!
Rider. Yep.
He's up. You put him on this damn list.
But yeah, I was shocked by that as well.
People were warned. There were riders on this list.
Okay, that means I have to do a last second swap out here. I should have clocked that. I was just reading through here and I was like, I bet altitude for the first time. He's gonna be flying this year. All right. I don't want Caleb Ewan.
You might have got mixed up by seeing that his younger brother has been swept up by Intermarché Devo. So you might have seen him in his Intermarché kit again and thought, oh, he's still World Tour.
No, I think I just
But
forgot.
I don't know. Maybe you just
I think I
forgot.
just
You
forgot.
know, I was padding the gap.
I appreciate that.
Finding more.
I appreciate that. Well, I'm gonna go with Rui Costa for the
Nice.
vibes alone, because he's gonna get a bunch of points somehow. Unclear how, but he will do it, and those points will be mine.
Nice. Ronan.
Have riders that I want to pick, but I'm going to pick Isaac Del Toro.
Ooh,
Mm.
Isaac. Right?
Any rider who drops off the back of the peloton in the leader's jersey of a World Tour race just to test his legs, apparently, is a rider who's going to scoop up the points when he starts dropping off the front of the peloton to test his legs.
He's gonna be a monster.
The concern with picking anybody on Tadej Pogacar's team is that if they're in the same team as Tadej Pogacar.
Yeah, we'll have to look afterwards to see which teams have been picked the most. Might be interesting. I'll see if I can be bothered. Dane, your pick.
Let's go with Arnaud Demar.
Bold.
Did you say bold or old?
Both.
When we get to the end of this, it's gonna be interesting to see which riders we really should have picked. Which riders we've deeply insulted by not having in the top, whatever it is, 70,
80, yeah.
80.
Well, at least it's not Tom's. At least he's off the board. Joe, will you be going bold and old or something else?
Reasonably old, yeah. I'm thinking Dylan Groenewegen.
Ooh.
The groin wagon himself.
Did you just say Groenwagen?
Yeah, the
I
Groenwagen.
heard that nickname.
The
but-
Groenewegen.
Wow.
Is that not what everyone refers to him as? Just me. Kit, your pick.
Wout Poels.
Solid.
Would
That's probably even less people refer to him as than groin wagon. There we go. Tom, your penultimate pick.
I'm going with Jordi Moos, who won the final stage on the shops.
Ooh.
Hopefully he gets some more wins under his belt this year.
Another sneaky good pick. The Moose Man himself. Right, I'll get over with. Close out the rounds. I'm going for Julian Alaphilippe's favourite doppelganger, Mathieu Bergadou. Who else did Total Energies have this year? New bit.
Total Energies isn't
That's
a
not a
World
World
Tour
Tour team. Yeah.
Who wants to do a pro Conti
He does have
version of
another
this?
doppelganger though. Hey, Johnny, he does have another doppelganger though this year on his own team. I can't remember the chap's name, but I'll find him for you. He's really, 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 really young. Antoine Hubie, I think, but he's not going to win.
Who be your pick, Johnny?
Romain Gregoire, because he's also French and has a name which is, imposing. Right, this is our second to last time into some natter about picks. Kayla, you've kind of gone for you've got a mix of characters in your friendliest, and then some of maybe the ones who, choose the words carefully. Maybe other riders get frustrated with them for not really riding collaboratively as part of like breakaway group, let's say.
Yeah, but that means they don't get dropped, which means they get me points. So I've got a mix of vibes-based and points-based picks here. And I think, you can probably guess which fall into which category. Some of them are both. Tadej Pogacar is a vibes and points-based pick, I would argue.
Yeah, but if he had no vibes at all, you still would have picked him. So doesn't that mean he's just not a vibes
true.
pick, really? I mean, he's got great vibes.
In hindsight, we should have made a rule: no Tadej picks.
I mean, at some point, we're going to do more drafts. We're going to do like a U23 draft this autumn. I think that would be fun. Be all riders no one's ever heard of.
And then we'll have to pick based on name.
Pick the top 20 of the Tour de l'Avenir, basically.
That could also be fun.
Well, most of them will already be signed up
they've
with
already
the
won
World
World
Tour.
Tour races
That's
these
true.
days.
That's true.
Right, honestly, Mathieu Bergadou not being a World Tour rider has spun me, and now I'm flapping. So I'm gonna go for Jack Haig. Why not? He's a good guy and a good bike racer. There we have it. That's my team. Tom's, who's the last name on your team?
I just noticed that I am lacking a few sprinters, so I'm going to go with recent stage winner at Alula, Casper van Uden.
Tom's, when you look down Tom's list, it's a real connoisseur's pick of there's actually thought gone into it.
He's setting himself up for that post riding career, commentator role. He's going to be the Tony Romo. He's trying to pull the Tony Romo. He's doing a good job, I think.
Yeah, your final pick.
I'm gonna go. Hesitant to say mainly on vibes because I think he could, on a good year, get some good points. Esteban Chavez.
Nice. That's a nice final pick.
Yeah.
Joe, your final pick.
I'm a little mad at you for picking Romain Gregoire, but I'll get over it. I'm going to go with Andrea Baggioli. He had a really good finish to last season, second in Lombardia. It's on a new team, a little bit of a change of scenery. So,
Dane, your final pick.
I'm gonna take my time with this one because I've got time. So let me think about it. Let's close it out with a Dane, Soren Krauw Andersen.
Sort of that's a Mark Hershey pick again. You've gone for that 2020 tour, plucking names like that. Ronan, have you got
I'm really struggling with this last pick because there's one name I think we have disgraced in not picking him sooner that I really feel could, if this comes down to 1 point at the end of the season, I'm going to be devastated for not picking him. Regardless, I'm going to leave him. I'm going to pick a real hard pick, Darren Rafferty.
Oh, like that.
Who I do think will score some serious points this season despite being a neo-pro, but not as many as the rider I just have not picked. I'm not going to give him away. Two picks left. Yeah, we'll come back afterwards if nobody picks him.
We'll come back down the line. Kaylee, your last pick.
Well, I am a French team. So Guillaume Martin.
Really?
Come on over to Arkea. Leave Coffies behind.
I mean, it's going to happen someday.
There's only one pick left, and the rider who we may write more stories about in the next 6 months than anyone still on the board.
Abby, you open the draft. Now you get to close it. The final pick of the 2024 draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Who is it?
My heart wants to pick my favorite rider in the peloton, another former world champion, Mikko Kwiatkowski. But yeah, he knows.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
But I am going to pick Benoit Cosnefoy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I like it.
I need a little French flair in my team.
Nice. That concludes the job. But I think to sum up, because we don't want to necessarily talk about this for hours and hours more to come, we're going to go back down the list in the order of the draft 1-7, and then you can like say your final piece. You can say the picture you're really pleased with, the picks. Maybe if you click again, you maybe wouldn't draft them as high, and maybe guys you wish you had drafted, and maybe if there's anyone who stands out as having been missed off the board entirely, like Ronan was saying, he was summing up to at the end. We can take a half minute each and just let me know your thoughts. Abby, the revamped Little Trek team.
Yeah, I'm really happy with my team. I'm really happy with my first pick. I have no regrets. I'm happy with the whole team. I think the only rider that I wish that I could have gotten is Wout van Aert.
Sorry.
But
Are you sorry?
I really like Kit, so I will forgive.
Kaylee, maybe you should have number one pick. He's in your squad. Is that all that matters here, or is the rest of your squad? Are you happy with them too?
I mean, if I'm honest, I feel like maybe some of my picks after my first pick were out of a bit of guilt because I felt like I had stepped into this with such a massive advantage that I needed to sort of like level things off. Like, I think Nielsen Palace will have a great year, but I probably could have picked somebody else second. But I'm pretty happy to have Poggi on my team. I think that there's some sneaky, I think Lenny Martinez is going to do some interesting things this year. So I think I'm going to get some sneaky sources of points this year. If I could have picked anybody stolen by somebody else, it probably would have been Vanderpool. Would have really rounded out my squad. But can't have it all.
You can't. Ronan, you've got a fun team. Happy? And who was that rider that you were hedging your bets on at the last?
I mean, I thought I was off to a winning start when I was still looking at the list for picking teams, and I seen that I was second to Abby. And then when we realized that Kaylee was actually second pick and Pogačar was gone, that immediately set me in a spin. I thought I wasn't getting Pogačar, then I thought I was getting him. Ultimately, I didn't, and for some reason I picked Roglic, which I'm happy with. I'm delighted with my entire team. If I'm looking at it now and being truthful, I'm not sure why I picked Richard Carapaz instead of Alexander Vlasov, who is the rider that I was mentioning at the end there, who I do think will rank up some points. I'm confident though Carapaz will do the business this season after being so unlucky last year. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy there. Got a nice mix of. I think everybody in that list is going to win a race this year, which is a good start.
For sure. Dane.
Fantasy football is what I have, experience with. I will say that I mean the guys here are less likely to get injured on the first play of the game, which happens all the time, and then you're out for the whole season. So that's not that riders don't get hurt, that they do obviously, but I'm hopeful that that's not going to happen here. I am just unscientifically thinking that I may have one of the oldest teams here, which was not my intention when I set out to get guys like Geraint Thomas, who are just kind of, twilight of their career. He's been saying that for years, by the way, that he's in the twilight of his career. But it's just kind of what happened.
It's a Latvian twilight. Have you been to Latvia in the summer?
No, tell me more.
It just doesn't go away. It's always there.
Oh, I like that.
Interesting to me that Tadej Pogačar was so obviously the number one pick for us, right? When we do have this debate at the end of seasons, who is the number one rider of the year? Was it Jonas Vingegaard? Not a single one of us mentioned that, right?
I think it's because we all have an understanding of the point system at this stage, and he's going to win one-day races and
sure.
stage races, and he's pretty much the only rider who will consistently do that.
I might share a little nugget of information here. I might have shared it before, but I'm going to share it anyway. And that Tadej recently told me his true goal in cycling is
the World
not the
Championships.
World Championships, not the Tour de France, is not the Olympics. It's
Esports Worlds.
What he actually, not even esports. It was at an esports world event, and he doesn't even want to do esports. What he wants to do is an Everesting, and there are no
There we
UCI
go.
points for an Everesting. So perhaps he will refocus this year, and Kaylee will be left with egg on his face when he has 0 points, null point, as we might say in the Eurovision Song Contest.
What would if Tadej was on this call and picking a team and trying to get last? What do you think? Who do you think he would have picked? That'd be fun to think about.
Can you?
Although maybe it wouldn't be that fun because it would just be.
I've just realized
unfair
on
and
Pro
quite
Cycling
sad.
Stats here, you can rank you can filter the pages of the rankings, and it goes down to 2,501st to 2,551st. So presumably that's where you would start.
Yeah.
Joe, you picked quite solidly towards the top of the list. Any improvements you can see in your team? Any regrets, or happy to see how the season goes now?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely surprised to see Matthew Van Der Poel fall to me at the 12th pick. That felt a little bit late in a lot of ways. We'll see how that bears out. Other than that, I think my most speculative pick is probably Alaphilippe. Obviously it was fairly late in the draft, but I really don't know how he's going to go this year. It's sort of a contest between his declining form as he ages and one last shot for a gold medal on home soil kind of thing.
Any points at the Olympics, though? Do you get points at the Olympics?
As far as I know, you do.
UCI points?
There we go then. Right, scrap it, redo it. Yeah, you'll go.
I don't know. I mean, I'm slightly, I don't know, ashamed, embarrassed about a couple of my picks, just going for needs, must, and point scoring reasoning. But I don't know. I think I've got some good scores in there. I'm running a little low on GC.
You got Waffen Art. He's going to win the Giro.
Yeah, and Ayuso, maybe the Vuelta. I don't know. He'll go well there. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to win stuff. Just don't know how much they're going to win. I would have liked to. Yeah, obviously Pogačar would have been my first pick, but I think Mads Pedersen was a solid choice as well because he can't help but win. Yeah.
Maybe we've been too harsh on Abby.
I think everyone else except Abby was going to pick Tadej without question. So we all thought nobody would, anyone who was going first wouldn't. But he is throwing caution to the wind this year. So who knows?
It was too easy of a pick. I could never.
It was a
pick that
boring
easy.
pick, wasn't it, Abby?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to keep you guys on your toes, and I think I did it. I mean, I definitely confused the heck out of Ronan.
He was on toes and knees and everything, jumping up and down probably.
There is a distinct difference in tactics, I feel like, between, like Kit, your group, other than, probably doesn't win a ton of races this year, but is it like a lot of top 10s floating around in that group? And then Ronan, I think you're kind of, like you said, the opposite. There's kind of a win in each one of those riders. But different tactics here.
It'll be interesting to see. Tom, first of all, thanks for joining. Great to have you along. Hope you've enjoyed and been able to put up with. I won't cast aspersions on my colleagues on sort of my nonsense and just erratic thoughts. You've given us genuine insight into the riders and introduced us to the term Latvian Twilight, which I will definitely be using again. That was really nice. Are you happy with your draft? Any places you'd have changed it, or anyone you wish you would have drafted?
Yeah, I'm quite happy overall, but I had two guys maybe that I wish I could have picked, but they got picked. Olaf Koy got picked quite high, but Jakobsen, I was maybe too slow to choose him. I think he's gonna have a good year. Yeah, he's new environment, team fully dedicated for him. I think he'll do well.
Do you see yourself winning this? Do you see yourself towards the top based on looking at your team versus the others?
Yep.
Confidence.
It's lots of youngsters on Tom's team, which I like. Yeah.
You can actually win with kids, apparently.
Yeah, that's what Ronan told us.
Well, they're very motivated.
Do we think Brandon McNulty and Keanu Brooks went quite late? Do we expect to see them drafted higher up?
I think if they're on different teams, they would have went much earlier.
Yeah, we went to Brooks' hard because with that team,
When are they going to get opportunities, right?
Maybe at the Vuelta.
Yeah.
That's what we learned this year.
I probably should have picked McNulty over Palace if I was going to go Americans, if I'm honest. But is what it is. It's too late now.
What I'm most looking forward to is us all being glued to the Tour of Guangxi as we try and get the final point.
I mean, that is the beauty of this. You watch everything.
You can be sure the UAE guys will be there.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm expecting to be in the running for the Everesting, which that's a problem for like at least 10 months.
Johnny, if you and I are bottom 2, maybe we could relay it.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been on a bike for 2 years, so it's not.
How much vertical gain between London and Edinburgh? Can you ride to each other and?
Plenty.
Yeah.
Everesting, you got to go up and down the same hill. You got to follow the rules of the Everesting, though. Yeah.
Mail our results into Andy and Bergen. It's important to say that we'll do a written after this, and there'll be like a way that listeners and readers can also get involved with this on a loose term. But the idea is, if people like this, if we enjoy it, if it works over the season, we'll do it again next year and revamp it a bit and get other people involved.
I think we could even do more. We should do an all-time all-stars team thing.
Blimey.
Like who's picking Lance, right? Who's picking Lance?
How do you
Nobody?
decide who wins?
They're not
scoring
just
points
off,
anymore.
No, purely off of vibes.
Oh,
Just the listeners can vote or something.
Right, guys.
That'll be great.
Right, are we ready to say our goodbyes and hang up?
I think so. So keep an eye out for the post, right? Chuck your ideas in.
We'll get a post up. I'm thinking of photoshopping everyone's riders on a photo of them, but the flight over tomorrow is only 7 hours, so I'm not sure if I can do it in time. But it would kind of be fun.
I believe in you.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it'll be a fun thing for everyone to follow along for the season, maybe. And yeah, do get involved. We'll have something where you can join in the comments. But yeah, great stuff, guys. Thank you all very much for joining the inaugural draft. Goodbye, I guess. Happy drafting.